Every single morning, 27 million Americans wake up exhausted despite sleeping 8 hours. Not just tired, but completely drained, unable to focus, struggling through brain fog so thick they forget conversations from an hour ago. They step on the scale and see another 2 pounds appeared overnight despite eating less than the day before. They look in the mirror and see hair thinning at the temples, eyebrows disappearing from the outer edges, skin so dry it cracks in winter air. Most of them have been told the same thing by their doctors. Your thyroid is fine. Your TSH is within normal range. It's just stress. It's just aging. Get more sleep. Exercise more. That answer is not just wrong. It is medically negligent. And I am going to explain exactly why. In 80% of cases where patients report classic hypothyroid symptoms but receive normal TSH results, the real problem is not being measured at all. The thyroid gland is producing hormones. The pituitary is sending signals correctly. But at the cellular level, in every tissue of your body, those thyroid hormones cannot activate because one single mineral is missing. Not calcium, not magnesium, not iron. The mineral I'm talking about is selenium, and the overwhelming majority of people over 50 are profoundly deficient without knowing it. Subscribe to Dr. Waterling right now and hit that like button. We are working toward building this channel on one principle. The system makes money when you stay sick, not when you get better. What I am about to tell you will not appear in your next endocrinology appointment because there is no billing code for nutritional correction, but this information could change your energy, your weight, your mental clarity, and your overall quality of life within 2 weeks. Let me explain exactly what is happening inside your body right now. Your thyroid gland sits at the base of your neck, a small butterfly-shaped organ weighing roughly 20 grams, about the weight of 4 teaspoons of sugar. Despite its small size, this gland controls your metabolic rate, your body temperature regulation, your heart rate, your digestive speed, your cognitive function, and your hair growth cycle. It accomplishes this through 2 primary hormones, T4, thyroxine, which is the storage form, and T3, triiodothyronine, which is the active form that actually does the work inside your cells. Here is the critical part that conventional thyroid testing completely ignores. Your thyroid produces approximately 94% T4 and only 6% T3. That T4 is biologically inactive. It is a precursor. Think of it as raw material sitting in a warehouse. For your body to use it, T4 must be converted into T3. That conversion happens primarily in 3 locations: your liver, your kidneys, and your gut. And that conversion process requires a specific enzyme called iodothyronine deiodinase. Now, here is where selenium becomes absolutely critical. That enzyme, the one responsible for converting inactive T4 into active T3, contains selenium at its molecular core. Without adequate selenium, the enzyme cannot function. Your thyroid keeps producing T4. Your pituitary sees T4 in the bloodstream and thinks everything is fine, so it does not signal for more production. Your TSH test comes back normal, but meanwhile, your cells are starving for T3. Your metabolism slows, your energy crashes, your brain function deteriorates, and your doctor tells you everything is fine because the only thing measured was TSH and maybe total T4. This is not theoretical biochemistry. This is documented endocrine physiology that has been known for over 30 years. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition confirmed that selenium deficiency directly impairs T4 to T3 conversion, resulting in functional hypothyroidism despite normal TSH levels. A study in the European Journal of Endocrinology demonstrated that selenium supplementation in deficient individuals increased circulating T3 levels by an average of 12% within 14 days without any change in thyroid medication. But here is what nobody in a white coat is going to walk you through at a 12-minute appointment. How much selenium you actually need, which forms are bioavailable, which food sources provide it, and exactly how to correct deficiency without causing toxicity. There is no revenue in teaching you to fix this with food. Your next appointment will focus on adjusting your levothyroxine dose, not on optimizing the conversion pathway that makes levothyroxine actually work. Let me tell you about Margaret. She was 58 years old when she walked into my office, completely convinced her thyroid medication was failing. She had been on 75 micrograms of levothyroxine for 6 years. For the first 3 years, she felt significantly better. Her energy returned. She lost the weight she had gained. Her thinking cleared. But over the past 2 years, despite consistent medication adherence, every symptom had returned. She was exhausted by 2 p.m. every day. She had gained 18 pounds. Her hair was thinning so severely she could see scalp through the crown. She went back to her endocrinologist 3 times. Each time her TSH was 2.1, perfectly normal. Each time she was told the medication was working and perhaps she needed to address diet and exercise. When I reviewed her comprehensive labs, her TSH was indeed 2.1. Her total T4 was normal, but her free T3 was in the lowest 10% of the reference range. Her reverse T3, the inactive form produced when conversion fails, was elevated, and her serum selenium was 87 micrograms per liter. The optimal range is 120 to 150. She was functionally deficient. I did not change her thyroid medication. I did not add another pharmaceutical. I designed a specific nutritional protocol providing 200 micrograms of selenium daily through food sources, along with supportive nutrients required for thyroid hormone activation. Within 1 week, she reported noticeably improved energy in the afternoons. Within 2 weeks, her morning brain fog had cleared significantly. At 6 weeks, we rechecked her labs. Her free T3 had increased from the 10th percentile to the 60th percentile. Her reverse T3 had dropped. Her selenium level was 128. She had lost 9 pounds without changing her diet. Her hair shedding had decreased dramatically. Same thyroid medication, same dose. The only change was providing the mineral required for that medication to actually convert into its active form. This is not a unique case. This is a pattern I have observed in clinical practice for 15 years. The thyroid medication works beautifully when the conversion pathway functions. But if you are selenium deficient, you are trying to run a factory without a critical machine part. The raw materials arrive, but nothing gets produced. Now, why is selenium deficiency so widespread, particularly in people over 50? 3 primary reasons. First, soil depletion. Selenium content in food depends entirely on selenium content in the soil where that food was grown. Large-scale industrial agriculture has stripped selenium from soil across vast regions. Foods that contained substantial selenium 50 years ago now contain a fraction of that amount. This is not speculation. USDA nutrient database comparisons show a 50% decline in selenium content of wheat and other grains grown in selenium-depleted regions over the past 40 years. Second, digestive function decline. Selenium absorption happens primarily in the small intestine and requires adequate stomach acid and healthy intestinal lining. After age 50, stomach acid production decreases significantly. Chronic stress, medications like proton pump inhibitors for acid reflux, and intestinal inflammation all impair selenium absorption even when dietary intake appears adequate. Third, increased selenium demand. Your body uses selenium for multiple critical functions beyond thyroid conversion. Selenium is required for glutathione peroxidase, your body's master antioxidant enzyme that protects every cell from oxidative damage. It is required for proper immune function. It is required for DNA synthesis. As oxidative stress increases with age, selenium demand increases, depleting stores faster than they can be replenished through typical modern diet. The result is that an estimated 60% of adults over 50 in North America have suboptimal selenium status, and roughly 20% are frankly deficient. Most have no idea because selenium is rarely tested. It is not part of standard metabolic panels or thyroid workups. Deficiency develops silently over years until symptoms become undeniable. Now, conventional medicine's response when hypothyroid symptoms appear is predictable and almost entirely pharmaceutical. First, you get prescribed levothyroxine, synthetic T4. If that does not resolve symptoms, the dose gets increased. If increasing the dose does not work, you might get switched to a combination medication containing both T4 and T3. If that still does not resolve symptoms, you might get referred to an endocrinologist who orders more tests, finds nothing conclusive, and suggests the problem is psychological or related to aging. At no point in that cascade does anyone ask the fundamental question: is the conversion pathway functioning? Do you have the minerals and cofactors required for thyroid hormones to actually work inside your cells? The system is built to prescribe medications, not to optimize the biological pathways those medications depend on. And here is the truly frustrating part. Selenium supplementation costs approximately $8 for a 3-month supply. A single endocrinology appointment costs $250 to $400. Thyroid medication costs $15 to $60 per month, depending on formulation. The healthcare system profits from ongoing treatment, not from solving the underlying deficiency with an $8 intervention. So what should you do instead? Let me give you the complete clinically organized protocol that addresses selenium deficiency, supports thyroid hormone conversion, and includes the essential cofactors required for optimal thyroid function. First, selenium intake targets. The recommended daily allowance for selenium is 55 micrograms for adults. But that RDA prevents frank deficiency. It does not represent optimal intake for thyroid function. Research demonstrates that optimal selenium status for thyroid hormone conversion requires intake of 100 to 200 micrograms daily. The tolerable upper limit is 400 micrograms, so there is a safe range to work within. The single most selenium-dense food on Earth is Brazil nuts. One Brazil nut contains approximately 70 to 90 micrograms of selenium, depending on where it was grown. This means 2 Brazil nuts daily provide 140 to 180 micrograms, right in the optimal range. This is the simplest, most cost-effective selenium intervention available. 2 Brazil nuts. Every single day. Consistency matters more than timing. You can eat them with breakfast as an afternoon snack before bed. Just make them a non-negotiable daily habit. But do not exceed 3 Brazil nuts per day. Selenium toxicity is real and occurs above 400 micrograms daily with chronic intake. Symptoms include hair loss, nail brittleness, nausea, and neurological problems. 2 nuts daily is safe, effective, and sustainable long-term. 3 is the absolute maximum. If you cannot tolerate Brazil nuts due to allergy or preference, the next best food sources are seafood and organ meats. Yellowfin tuna provides 92 micrograms per 3-ounce serving. Sardines provide 45 micrograms per 3-ounce serving. Halibut provides 47 micrograms per 3 ounces. Chicken liver provides 70 micrograms per 3 ounces. Beef kidney provides 140 micrograms per 3 ounces. For those who prefer supplementation, choose selenomethionine, the organic form with highest bioavailability. Avoid sodium selenite, the inorganic form with lower absorption. A 200 microgram selenomethionine supplement taken daily with food provides excellent coverage. Take it with a meal containing fat to enhance absorption. Second, iodine adequacy. Selenium and iodine work synergistically for thyroid function. Selenium without adequate iodine is incomplete. But iodine supplementation without adequate selenium can actually worsen autoimmune thyroid conditions. The safest approach is ensuring dietary iodine through iodized salt, seaweed, fish, and dairy. Use half a teaspoon of iodized salt daily in cooking. Add 1 sheet of nori seaweed to meals 3 times per week. Consume fish twice weekly. This provides approximately 150 to 200 micrograms of iodine daily, meeting requirements without excess. Third, zinc adequacy. Zinc is required for thyroid hormone receptor function. Even with adequate selenium converting T4 to T3, if zinc is deficient, T3 cannot bind to receptors in your cells. Food sources include oysters, which provide 74 milligrams per 3 ounces, beef, which provides 7 milligrams per 3 ounces, and pumpkin seeds, seeds, which provide 2 milligrams per ounce. Target 15 to 25 milligrams daily through food or supplement. Fourth, vitamin D status. Vitamin D receptors are present on thyroid cells, and deficiency impairs thyroid hormone production. Have your 25-hydroxy vitamin D level tested. Optimal range for thyroid function is 50 to 70 nanograms per milliliter. If deficient, supplement with 2,000 to 4,000 IU of vitamin D3 daily with a fat-containing meal. Fifth, reduce thyroid disruptors. Certain foods and environmental exposures interfere with thyroid function and must be minimized. Excessive raw cruciferous vegetables, including kale, broccoli, and cabbage, contain goitrogens that block iodine uptake when consumed in large quantities raw. Cooking deactivates most goitrogens, so lightly steam or sauté these vegetables rather than consuming them raw in large smoothies or salads. Soy products contain isoflavones that interfere with thyroid peroxidase enzyme. Moderate soy intake, no more than 1 serving daily. Fluoride in water competes with iodine for thyroid uptake. If your municipal water is fluoridated, consider filtering it or using bottled spring water. Now here is your complete daily protocol, organized into a simple morning and evening routine. Morning protocol. Immediately upon waking, before breakfast, drink 250 milliliters of room temperature water with the juice of half a lemon. This supports liver function, which is critical for T4 to T3 conversion. 30 minutes later, eat breakfast including 2 Brazil nuts, 1 serving of proteins such as eggs or Greek yogurt, and vegetables. If supplementing selenium, zinc, or vitamin D, take them with this meal. Afternoon protocol. Consume lunch with iodine-containing foods. This could be fish, seaweed salad, or simply a meal prepared with iodized salt. Ensure adequate protein, at least 25 to 30 grams, to support thyroid hormone transport. Evening protocol. Eat dinner at least 3 hours before bed. Include zinc-rich foods such as beef, pumpkin seeds, or shellfish. Avoid large, raw, cruciferous vegetable portions. If taking thyroid medication, take it in the morning on an empty stomach, at least 30 to 60 minutes before eating, and at least 4 hours separated from calcium or iron supplements which interfere with absorption. Within the first week of this protocol, most people notice improved energy, particularly in the afternoon when thyroid function typically dips. By the end of 2 weeks, mental clarity improves significantly. Brain fog lifts. Word recall becomes easier. By 4 weeks, metabolic improvements become measurable. Modest weight loss begins even without caloric restriction. Body temperature regulation improves. Cold hands and feet warm up. By 6 to 8 weeks, hair shedding decreases noticeably. New hair growth becomes visible, particularly in eyebrows. Skin texture improves as cellular metabolism normalizes. These are not miraculous transformations. This is your body functioning the way it is designed to function when provided the raw materials required for basic biochemistry. Your thyroid medication, if you are taking one, works better because the conversion pathway now has what it needs. If you are not on medication but experiencing subclinical hypothyroid symptoms, you may find those symptoms resolve entirely as conversion efficiency improves. Now, critical warnings. If you have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, the autoimmune form of hypothyroidism, selenium is particularly important because it reduces thyroid peroxidase antibodies. Studies show 200 micrograms of selenium daily can reduce TPO antibodies by 40% over 3 months. However, if you have Hashimoto's, you must work with a physician who understands autoimmune thyroid management. Selenium supports treatment but does not replace it. If you are currently taking thyroid medication, do not stop it or reduce it based on this video. Selenium optimizes the conversion and utilization of thyroid hormone. It works alongside medication, not instead of it. As your selenium status improves, you may eventually need less medication, but that adjustment must happen under medical supervision with regular lab monitoring. If you experience heart palpitations, chest pain, severe anxiety, tremors, or excessive sweating while implementing this protocol, stop immediately and consult your physician. These symptoms could indicate excessive thyroid hormone activity and require evaluation. If you have kidney disease, selenium excretion may be impaired. Discuss selenium intake with your nephrologist before supplementing. Know the signs of selenium toxicity, though they are rare at the doses I have described. garlic breath odor, metallic taste, hair loss, white horizontal lines across nails, nausea, fatigue, and irritability. If any of these appear, stop all selenium supplementation immediately and see your doctor. This protocol is not a replacement for medical evaluation of serious thyroid conditions. If you have a thyroid nodule, significant goiter, or have been told you need thyroid surgery, this nutritional support is supplementary. It does not replace necessary medical intervention. How old are you? Write it in the comments. I want to see which age group makes up the majority of our viewers because it will directly shape what I cover in future videos. The thyroid controls so much more than people realize. It is not just about weight or energy. Thyroid hormones regulate the speed at which every single cell in your body operates. When thyroid function is impaired, everything slows. Your heart beats slower. Your intestines move slower, causing constipation. Your brain processes information slower. Your liver detoxifies slower. Your kidneys filter slower. You feel like you are living in slow motion while the world moves at normal speed. And the tragedy is that millions of people are suffering with these symptoms while being told their thyroid is fine based on a single inadequate test. TSH is a pituitary hormone. It tells you what the pituitary thinks about thyroid function. It does not tell you what is happening at the cellular level where thyroid hormones actually work. Comprehensive thyroid evaluation requires at minimum TSH, free T4, free T3, reverse T3, and thyroid antibodies if autoimmune disease is suspected. It should also include selenium, zinc, vitamin D, and iron studies because these nutrients are essential cofactors. But most conventional doctors order only TSH. When it comes back normal, the evaluation ends. Your symptoms are dismissed as stress, depression, or aging. This is medical negligence masquerading as standard care. The information exists, the research is published, the interventions are simple and inexpensive, but the system is not designed to educate you. It is designed to prescribe pharmaceuticals and bill for follow-up visits. What I have given you today is a complete framework for addressing the single most common correctable cause of persistent hypothyroid symptoms, despite normal TSH. 2 Brazil nuts daily, adequate iodine from food, zinc from meat and seeds, vitamin D optimization, reduction of thyroid disruptors. This costs less than $20 per month. It requires no prescription. It causes no side effects when implemented correctly. And it can restore thyroid function in a significant percentage of people who have been told nothing more can be done. Subscribe to Dr. Waterling. Hit the like button. Every subscriber moves us closer to reaching more people who are trapped in the cycle of being told they are fine when they clearly are not. Share this video with someone you care about, a parent, a friend, someone over 50 who is always tired, always cold, always struggling with weight despite doing everything right. You may have just given them the missing piece that changes everything. Your thyroid is not your enemy. Your body is not broken. You are not imagining your symptoms. You have been underserved by a system that measures the wrong things and ignores the simple solutions that restore function. Now you have the information. Now you can act.